Hey, Recap here. Today we are going to explain a movie called Last Seen Alive. Spoilers ahead. Take care. The movie opens in a car where a man is trying to get some information about a missing woman. We are taken back 8 hours earlier where there's a couple driving towards the wife's parents' home, and along the way they stop to get some gas. Lisa gets inside the store to grab some drinking water. Husband, Mr. Span, fuels the car. After some few minutes, as Lisa exits the store, a random guy just calls her from the back of the store. Approaches, and it is purposely placed at a point whereby Spam could not see Lisa from the other side of the store. After some minutes of waiting, Spam noticed that the wife is not getting back from the store, and he decides to go and look for her. So he's like all over, up and down, all over the store, and Lisa is nowhere to be seen. So he decides to call the local police and inform them of the missing wife. But remember, at this point, he's getting mad and furious because nobody around seems to have seen her or heard from her. After some time, maybe he thought Lisa walked to the parents' home. So he drove there, but upon reaching, still Lisa is nowhere to be seen. So he informed the in-laws about what had happened. But from the look of things, the conversation between him and the in-laws doesn't look to be so good. And after an hour and a half, the police arrive. And as they try to get the camera footage from the store, well, the store attendant claims that the cameras are not working, which was all a lie. So the police recorded the statement and left. But afterwards, Span would notice that one of the cameras was working. And so he decided to go back to the store and forcibly attacked the store attendant and grabbed the hard drive which contained the file footage and took it back to the police station. So the police are able to extract some file footage showing a guy kidnapping Lisa. Next, Spam is taken to an interviewing room and whereby the police do some questionings on him. But Spam, to him, all this is a waste of time. So he gets angry and furious. But later, Spam takes the file footage to the in-laws and they recognize the guy who abducted Lisa. So he gets the address and decides to give him a visit. And this is where things start getting hot and hotter. So the guy lives in some bushland, and so Span decided to get himself some weapon. So he finds the guy, and as usual, things get physical, and our guy Span wins the race. And so he decided to tie the guy and put him at the back of his truck. So on the way, the guy is stopped by the police due to overspeeding, and as usual, you have a tied guy at the truck, so he decides to run, and so our guy Span find himself at the middle of some in a bush, but luckily he had some information about a guy named Frank, who was like the boss to the guy who abducted Lisa. So after hours of running, Span find himself at this old facility that looks like a warehouse where Frank did his illegal drug business. He pulls out his gun and starts approaching carefully. So after carefully analyzing the area, he starts taking out the bad guys one by one. And this is why we find out that our guy, Mr. Span, is really good when it comes to tactical skills. Then we are taken back to the highway where Span left his car, the police and the bad guy tied at the back of his truck. But luckily, the detective whom Span had reported the case to was still following up, and he knew about the bad guy tied at the back of his truck. And so this takes us back to the introduction of the movie, where the detective is seen arguing or like trying to forcefully get some information from the guy at the back of the truck. And he's able to get some very good information about a warehouse at the woods where Span is already there doing his things with a gun, taking out the bad guys. And later we are taken back to the woods where Span is bringing down the bad guys. He's real good. So later on, the police are able to join him and the detectives, and they bring down the whole squad of the gangsters, and they destroy the whole facility, and they are able to find Lisa, and Lisa is united with Span, and the whole things ends up in a very good unity, and she's taken back to her parents' home, and they lived happily ever after. I'm Joe. Thanks for watching.